Where there are rocks, watch out. Watch out, because the rocks are going eventually to come alive. And they're going to have people crawling over them. It's only a matter of time. Just in the same way as the seed, the acorn, is eventually going to turn into the oak, because it has the potentiality of that within it. Rocks are not dead. You see, it depends on what kind of attitude you want to take to the world.
We're back here in France, we're at Moorland Fisheries. It's 2016 and it's the last week of April.
And it's a little bit chilly, isn't it?
We're standing here in our woolly hats, fleece is on.
Oh dear, never mind. Keith can't do anything about the weather. I mean, that's Mother Nature for you. But we're going to still stick it out because there's 70-pounders swimming around in this lake behind us, so we're not going to give up.
That's right, 2 weeks ago I think it was, the lake record come out at £70 5 ounces. Last week was slow, but this week the fishing's already started okay for us. Well, I say for us, for the guy in one of the parties with us, he's had a common to £55 already, so things are optimistic.
Oh, they certainly are. I mean, all the time you've got a bait in the water, there's a chance of a big fish.
Yeah, so there's only 6 of us here this week. Andy's had 2. Let's show you that footage.
Well done, Andy.
Cheers.
Moorland's 2016, and I'm so excited. Come out 4th in the draw, and I've opted for first pontoon. It wouldn't have been my first choice, but this can be a good swim on its day, but you really need the fish to be up here. My first choice was the boneyard, and that's the swim that's done 2 fish already, so my gut instinct was there, but it didn't come out first in the draw, so I couldn't choose that one. But I'm happy with my swim. There's fish starting to move out here now. They've been spawning up the southern arm and in front of the oaks a lot, and that's all stopped today, so we're hoping that all that commotion and us up there weed cutting has moved a lot of the fish back down this direction.
It's Sunday morning, not a lot has happened yesterday. We gave you a little bit of a talk of why we're here for our week's fishing. We've done a little bit of work partying, had a walk round again this morning after putting our rods out just for a few hours last night, had breakfast. The fish had stopped spawning, which is good, and they seem to have moved out a little bit further around the lake. They've started to show in front of Paul, just a little bit further down. I'm in a swim called Pontoon 2. In front of me there's a couple of weed banks, and I'm fishing to channels and gaps within those weeds on my usual Eclipse Baits assortments that I've got with me. The weather is carpy, it's just whether we can actually catch them. I don't predict it to be a prolific week. However, it being my birthday, I would love it to be prolific. Today I turned 34. A young sprightly lad, I know.
But I've been like a kid waiting for Christmas to get back down here. Morland's is a special place, and the fish just keep getting bigger and bigger. We're seeing the odd one show, head and shoulder, a few bit of bubbles, and Keith just shouted across to me to say there's a few in front of the house, and luckily I've got a bait there. So I've got my fingers crossed. It's a long week. I mean, it's Sunday evening now. I didn't fish until Saturday evening. I didn't get my rods in the water till Saturday evening because a lot of bait's gone in this swim from last week. and it did a blank, so I'm hoping and praying that the fish move from the southern arm and in front of Oaks where they've been spawning, which is another blow to us. It doesn't, you know, it's freezing cold. Well, it's not freezing cold, but it's cold, and you wouldn't think they'd be spawning, but because of the layer of weed on top of the lake, you pick it up and it's warm to the touch, and it's obviously triggered the carp into spawning. Saying that, they've stopped now. So my thinking is a disturbance up there where we were doing the weed cutting, and the finish of the spawning, well, the lull in the spawning. I'm hoping the fish will move up this end of the lake. I found 3 great spots in amongst the channels of the weed. I've got the new Eclipse tuna and krill baits on, so I'm happy with the bait. So I've not put a lot of bait in because of the amount of bait that's gone in last week. So it's little handfuls here and there, and I'm fishing for a bite. So it's Sunday evening now, about to go for Sunday dinner. And let's hope there's a big lump on the bank soon.
So it's just a matter now of sitting here, watching the water, waiting for the odd fish to show themselves, like they have this morning, head and shouldering between the weed and in the gaps of the weed where the bait is. So it's all about playing the waiting game now. I'm not going to bait heavily, I'm just going to one fish at a time, just to get myself off the mark and then see how the week progresses, really. So hopefully the next time you see me, it will be holding a big fat carp. A birthday carp would be even better.
What do you desire? What makes you itch? What sort of a situation would you like? What would you like to do if money were no object? How would you really enjoy spending your life? We'd like to be painters, we'd like to be poets, we'd like to be writers, but as everybody knows, you can't earn any money that way. Or another person says, well, I'd like to live an out-of-doors life and ride horses. Let's go through with it. What do you want to do? When we finally got down to something which the individual says he really wants to do, I will say to him, you do that. And forget the money. If you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living, that is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way. And after all, if you do really like what you're doing, it doesn't matter what it is, you could eventually become a master of it. It's the only way to become a master of something, to be really with it. Therefore, it's so important to consider this question: what do I desire?
So it's Monday night, we've not had a fish as yet. Andy in the boneyard's had 3. Weather's still cold, still a pain in the bum.
All the cards stacked against us.
All the cards stacked against us. But we're fishing and we're trying. There's been
That's it.
signs of fish, ain't there? So
Yeah, there's been a few fish bubbling away in the first pontoon. When we woke up this morning they were there, weren't they? And I've been fishing for them all day but without success, but the confidence level has gone a little bit higher and we've seen 1 or 2 come clean out the water. So we know there's a few fish here. We wouldn't say there's the majority of the lake here, but there's some fish to fish for, so all the time there's a bait in the water, there's a chance of catching one.
yeah, I've not stuck a lot of bait out, to be honest. I mean, we opened, what, 10 kilos between us?
Yeah.
We're only just halfway through that, if we even are halfway through that, to be honest.
I've just used throwing stick.
And for the bait each time,
Yeah,
just in
round
case,
each.
because we heard the people before I said put a little bit out. So we didn't want to go just fill it up with our bait on top of their bait. There'd be no point in we doing this feeding the fish, you're not actually going to get a bite.
Yeah, and that's all we're trying to do is fish for a bite at the moment. So yeah, I'll probably put 15 to 20 baits around each hook bait maximum.
Yeah.
But it's 8:10 Monday night.
It's still a long way to go.
It's still a long way to go, and things can only get better for us. So fingers crossed.
Indeed.
Wednesday evening, and the fishing is still tough. Got fish in the swim though. All day they've been boshing out and fizzing, but they're just not picking up bait. Don't understand it. I was chatting to Keith and he was saying use washed out because it looks like they're just hunting naturals. So I've gone to washed out baits for this evening and tonight. Had them soaking in the bucket of lake water. I've just fed them out there. Let's hope that works. Lee's buggered off over the other side of the lake doing a bit of stalking. He's just texted me he's got 50 odd fish in front of him. So he might bag one with a bit of luck. Didn't do a vlog yesterday because we was clearing the swims yesterday. First pontoon where I'm fishing, cleared all the weed away from that now. We just left a couple of little channels. And we did Lee's swim as well in the second pontoon. That took all day, so we didn't fish until the evening. And Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, very quiet. But I awoke to, well, what I could describe as someone throwing fridges off the damn wall because of the splashes and the... It was amazing. It was amazing. And there were some big old lumps in amongst that lot. So now Wednesday evening, got to get off the mark. Got to. With the amount of fish in the swim now, well, I wouldn't say there's every fish in the lake in my swim, but there was a good few. There was a good few, you know, enough to be catchable anyway. And from not to be picking up the bait is it's a bit puzzling. It's a good bait. I'm on the new Eclipse tuna and krill, so I've got no doubt in the bait. Got to keep trying, haven't we? Well, not the biggest fish in Moorlands, but it's my first one. Thursday morning, 18#4. Baby for this place, believe me. And that's from my margin rod, fishing towards the house, over the washed out bed of Eclipse tuna and krill. £18.4. Lovely, nice little linear. Thank you. You may well have saved me a blank. Au revoir. Big Fish Thursday. I wouldn't think £18 4 ounce falls into that category. Not when there's fish £50 bigger than that swimming around in here. Never mind. It's Thursday afternoon now and I've still got fish boshing out on my house spot. So I'm still confident of another one. I'm keeping the washed out baits going in, the washed out Eclipse tuna and krill. Because the fish are preoccupied on naturals, Keith was saying that maybe that a washed out bait will probably do better because there's no high leakage, if you like. Well, it worked for me last night. It wasn't the fish I wanted, but it was a fish and I'm off the mark, so I'm happy.
Come off.
Well, it's Friday afternoon. It's 24 hours since I lost that fish and I'm still gutted. It's not easy losing a fish on a quiet week when every fish counts. It's a bitter pill to swallow, it really is. Got it through the first weed bed, it ran into another weed bed. It was only a strip of weed because we cleared most of it. It sat in there and locked up solid, got it out of there. The moment I got it out of the weed, went for another little run and then the hook pulled. Oh mate, devastated. The fish sightings have slowed up as well. All the later part of the week there's been fish showing all in front of me spots, or over the top of me spots.
there's only been 3 or 4 today. But I've got another night to go, and this evening. There's a lot of fish actually in the weed over the other side of the lake, in reeds, middles, dogleg. I just watched Henri the heron just fly over the top of the weed and all these carp spooking. It's crazy. So they're sitting in the weeds sunning themselves. The sun's out, but it's not warm at all. The wind is blowing across the lake. It's a westerly wind, but it just seems to be cutting you in half. It's more like an easterly temperature wise. But you go behind the swim and stand in the sun and it's like a summer's day. It's really, really weird. And the fishing has just been so hard. So 3 fish last week come out, 4 fish this week so far, plus 2 losses because Lee over the other side in Pampas lost one, as well as the one I lost. We can't be losing fish, not on weeks like this. It's a real wrench. Never mind, it's fishing, isn't it? And there's still a 70 pounder and lots of 60s, or maybe more 70s swimming around in front of me. As long as my bait's in the water, there's a chance. Let's see what tonight brings.
Will you join me for the penultimate evening vlog? Friday, 4 o'clock. What I can only describe as a very difficult week. At this moment in time, I'm sitting here on a blank, something that I didn't expect, and I've had to really work hard just to try and even summon a bite. A lot of elements have fought against me this week, in the fact that the weed in the lake's come up. I had a massive torrential rain the week before. Fertiliser washed in from the farmer's field. Within 2 or 3 days the lake got just filled up with weed basically. I've spent a couple of days clearing it just to try and help move fish around. I've tried different baits, but the fish just aren't on it. They're sitting up in the warm that we've had for the last few days in the weed, and I reckon if they sold a bite at the supermarket I still wouldn't be able to buy it. So I can only plod on for what remains to be the last 12 hours of this week that I've had in Moorland. I'd still like to thank Keith and all the family for the great hospitality that they've given us. There's nothing you can do about fishing. It's called fishing for a reason. If you turned up every time and caught, it'd be called catching. And I use Paul's quote all the time: my bait's in the water, I've got a chance.
So our week at Morland has come to an end, and it's been hard fishing, but I've had a great time. Have you, Lee?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed myself. Couldn't really ask for much more, spending a week away with your mates. As Paul says, fishing's been tough. Fish have been held up in the weed in certain places. You've managed to scrape one, haven't you?
Yeah, I've just managed an 18 pound 4, which is a baby for Moorland standards. There's fish like 60 pounds bigger in there. So yeah, I'm happy with that, but not so happy with the hook pull. I mean, you can't afford to lose fish when it's a hard week. But we've had a great time, so I've enjoyed it. And thanks to Keith, Jan and Sharon.
Yeah, the hospitality has been fabulous as always, so we hope to see you on the bank sometime and enjoy your fishing.